Get to it fast. Right here on the Anycast. Make it strong, make it last. Right here on the Anycast.
All right, everybody, welcome. I am here today with Jason Thibeault of the SVTA and general CDN industry fame and recognition, if you will. Jason, thanks for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Matt. Yeah, CDN fame. I don't know about that. Infamous, maybe?
Hey, infamy, fame, it's all the same. Better to be talked about than not talked about.
Yeah, definitely been around the CDN space for a long time.
Okay.
So not as long as some other folks, definitely, but yeah, I've been in that mix for a while.
Okay, so for those who don't know, we don't need to go back to conception probably, but tell us the backstory. How did you get from wherever we started to here?
Yeah, so I mean, really, I did a series of startups, that started in '99, and so we went down with the dot bomb, and then I did another startup, and then that went unfortunately south when we were trying to raise money in '08. So I have a terrible knack for trying to do startups at the worst possible financial time. And then I got so it's funny, we were using a recruiter for my last startup. And she called me. She's like, "Hey, just checking to see if you have any openings." And I was like, "Well, actually, we're shutting the doors, and I need a job." And that's where I landed at Limelight Networks. So I was at Limelight for about 8 years, and then the SVTA recruited me out of Limelight. They had been running for about a year, and they realized they needed somebody that was impartial to run the organization. So somebody focused on the org, but was not working for a company in the org, which is so that the SVTA, at the time, the SVA was founded really by Quilt. And so open caching was a huge piece of the SVA's mission and story at the time. And unfortunately, people were like, well, I'm not going to go join that organization because it's just, it's the Quilt show.
Right. So
they realized we need somebody impartial. They got me out of Limelight, and then I've been there since.
Got it. And you're still impartial, maybe.
I'm still most of the
time. That's a great, I think, jumping off point. So for those who don't know, in 2025, in 2026, what is the SVTA's mission today, and how does it fit into the broader CDN landscape?
Yeah, it's great. So our mission has probably expanded a bit over the years. Actually, I want to say it definitely has expanded. When we started, when I was pulled in, it was, I think 14 companies, and it was really focused on open caching. It was really focused on this idea of, let's create an open standard for anyone to set up and host caches that can be connected together regardless of the delivery network they live in. Mm-hmm. So the idea is like an overlay that gives you a heterogeneous, delivery architecture, but you manage it like a single architecture. So they were really focused on that. Now, fast forward, this started in 2014, so almost 12 years later, we've got the idea now that caching is just one part of streaming, obviously, and we've gone through some iterations of this. Mm-hmm. But where we are now is still the same mission. We want to help companies solve technical challenges of delivering high quality video securely at scale. And we're still even looking at expanding outside of that, right? So it's, instead of just video, what other things are being streamed? Mm-hmm. Are they games being streamed? Is it, edge resources being streamed? So we continue to try to find ways to apply what we're doing, which is, again, solving really big technical challenges around streaming things. And that hasn't changed at all. It just expanded outwards. We just merged with the UHDF, so the Ultra High Def Forum, which brings us further up the chain. So traditionally, we have been focused on streaming. Once content hits an origin, we take it from there. Like, we solve those challenges. We don't solve any of those upstream challenges. No challenges with acquisition, contribution, really encoding. Mm-hmm. We've gotten into all of those things, not only with the UHDF merger, but with some other activities as well. So again, we're really focused on expanding our scope so that we can get our arms around all of the technical challenges related to streaming pretty much anything.
Got it. Yeah, that's not a big scope at all. Just everything. Well, I think that's good. I mean, how do you see, presumably with your SVTA hat on, I don't think there is a non-SVTA answer to this. Where do you see streaming as a whole?
Here's the big one coming, right? In 2027, Artemis III is going to land on the moon, and they're going to stream live from the moon. So I'm predicting, I don't know, I'd probably guess that's going to be a concurrency when they land of about, I don't know, 350 million people around the world are going to watch that. Yeah. So are we ready for that? I don't know. Like, yeah. I don't know if we're ready for that, but we are getting to this final stage of, we'll just call it streaming at scale.
Yeah.
And we're not there yet. We're not. But I would say we're closer than we were, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow? No. Is it next year? No. Is it 5 years from now? Maybe. Like, it's probably a little bit even longer than that until we can say confidently and comfortably, hi, I can stream this and 100 million people can watch it. And we have visibility all the way through the stream down to the player, like the cable operators have, right? You have a box on your TV and they can see all the way to your box and go, oh, we see this problem at your D-Slam at your neighborhood. Okay, we'll send somebody out to fix it. We can't do that with streaming right now because there's no logical chain like that in that closed loop system. So that was a roundabout sort of way to answer your question.
Yep.
We're really on the cusp of being able to confidently replace broadcast signaling, so QAM, with IP distribution, streaming.
So what I heard is we're in the middle.
Yeah, that's a good place to put it.
And I think the reason that's interesting is there's a phrase I hold on to, which is everything looks terrible in the middle. Like if you've ever done a home reno or any change, like in the middle, everything looks like a disaster. I mean, I remember when the Tyson Paul thing happened, I think our marketing department was like, well, we should get out there. And I was like, what do you want to say? Like, we would have screwed it up way worse than Netflix would have. Like, what are we, like, what exactly, like, you want to say that we would have done a better job? I don't think so. But I think that's part of being in the middle, right? Is that you're just going we're in this sticky time.
Because you don't know in the middle, you honestly can't predict the future, so you don't know what's going to come. So Netflix, again, had no idea this much traffic was going to come their way. And again, they have all of these distribution partnerships with ISPs, right? They have Netflix Open Connect boxes in ISP networks in order to provide edge caching. And you just can't predict the upstream thing. Like, we're all peered together. This is great, but did we ever imagine this amount of traffic coming through the peering links? Like, probably not. So again, I actually applaud Netflix. I want to give them a big hug in the industry because they're doing the dirty, heavy work that the industry is going to benefit from, long term, because they're going to make it possible for us to do those kinds of streaming events consistently and repeatedly.
For the young folks out there, which represents approximately 0.00001% of my viewership, if you're somebody today who's really interested in media and streaming, and you're just at the beginning of your career, what's the piece of advice that you think people need to hear to get into the industry and make an impact?
Oh, wow. That's a humdinger. It really depends on where you want to go in the industry. If you're like, I'm really interested in ads or I'm really interested in encoding, I think it's probably, maybe that's the advice, is figure out what slice of the industry is really interesting to you. Is it media production? Is it media preparation? Is it stack engineering? Is it, operations? Are you really interested in finding problems? So it's like, where do you want to focus, and then lean into that specifically. Like, learn everything you can about it, and not just learn, but do. Everything now is virtualized. You can set up your own encoders, do your profiles, figure out what's the best way to tune, tweak, and optimize FFmpeg. Whatever you're going to be doing is get hands-on with it. If that's your shtick, and if it's on the business side, it's really like, go absorb information from folks like Evan Shapiro and understand how the business operates and kind of where it's going to, because that's always a big question. But that'd probably be the advice I would give them, is just, where do you want to focus on, and go focus on that. But if you get distracted, you're going to find yourself like, oh, I was interested in coding and then I got distracted over here by this. And then I started looking at that and I was distracted over here by this. And it's like, you're not necessarily useful to the industry per se, because you're not specialized enough to be relevant in that vertical, but you're not general enough to sit on top like a product person or a technical product marketer or somebody like that. So it's really just focus where you want to focus.
Yeah. I think you know what? It's great advice. I think it probably is true for just about anything in technology today that you want to get into is get specialized, because potentially I think the general version might be that those agentic workflows and
yeah, exactly. If you're a generalist, agents are really good at being generalists.
Yeah.
If you're an expert, and you can speak and talk and read and act like an expert, people pay attention. They're like, oh, yeah, that's what we need. We need somebody who's an expert at this to interface with our agent. Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
yeah.
All right,
cool.
Jason, thank you so much for your time. This was fun. Hopefully I didn't pester you with too many old man shakes fist at cloud questions, but
it's great.
Awesome.
It's like reliving the CDN days.
All right, everybody. Thanks again, Jason Thibeault, and we'll see you next time.
This is different, another round, so much more to talk about. Gonna aim to satisfy with help from CacheFly. Get to it fast. Right here on the Anycast. Make it strong, make it last. Right here on the Anycast. The Anycast podcast, brought to you by CacheFly.